Hey friends!
Hey guys.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. You're not gonna say it?
Oh, happy Wednesday. What am I saying?
No.
What? Oh, welcome back to another CARversation with the Luckets. What are we doing? Or what did we do today?
Well, it was early too. Look, y'all, we don't be trying to wake up early. I ain't gonna lie.
That may be bad. Call it what you want. But
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get up early if I don't have to.
Yeah, then I got all this nasally stuff. I think it's allergies at this point. All this BMW, y'all need to get y'all brakes together. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, hold on real quick.
Anyway.
Insert with that. If somebody knows about BMW and the people at BMW said that's just the model of the car,
Yeah.
you can send me a message, send me a DM, because I'm really tired of them telling me it's nothing wrong with my
These
brakes.
squeaky brakes.
I don't got bad brakes, y'all. We don't got bad brakes in this car.
All right.
So go ahead.
All right. So this morning, which is also why we're dressed up or somewhat business, we had a business leaders breakfast, and they had a speaker there and some other stuff. Breakfast wasn't bad.
It actually wasn't.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. We were kind of late.
We were.
But no, it was informative. It was makes you kind of reevaluate some things in terms of how you lead and how you show up. What else?
I don't know if this is jumping the gun, and we'll see if we just keep this flowing. But even though we were late, we actually ran into a business colleague on our way up there who we hadn't seen since earlier this year. And so I was like, is that him? And come to find out it was him. And then we actually sat at the table with him and his wife.
Yeah.
And then because of our positioning in the place, we saw another.
That's also a pretty cool connection. And so we'll
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
As we go, I guess we'll talk today.
Yeah.
But then we also saw another business contact that we met too, because she sat directly across from us. So the Holy Spirit just be working for real. Even when we're late, even when we feel like we're delayed, it's not our timing that matters. God's perfect timing is what it's supposed to be. So literally we were there in time to get some breakfast, sit down at the table with our business colleague who we ran into and his wife, and then we were able to talk to a new banker relationship that we're developing for business, as well as the other connecting point from another business relationship. Literally, we were all. It was perfect. God has perfect timing. Stop worrying about the timing. But okay, that was my little segment.
You just killed like 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right. One thing that that the speaker had shared was the fact of, we have easy things, we have hard things, but where we are and kind of who we are, truth be told, we have to do the meaningful things, and a lot of times the meaningful things are hard. It's not saying that we got an easy button for everything, but sometimes we just have to present things as being simple. But I guess
simple doesn't mean easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean easy. Honestly, the simplest thing that we can do is make a decision. And life requires us, whether you're in business, you have family dynamics, whatever it may be, you have to make a decision. But that does not mean that it's going to be easy once you make the decision. The simple thing, again, is to make the decision. Now here comes the hard work. It's doing the mundane things. It's doing the repetitive things that aren't pretty. It's developing character. It's literally creating systems that you have to replicate over and over and over again.
Not just creating the system, but implementing the system and having everybody buy into the system.
Yes, you can create all day long.
Yeah.
But if you're not implementing anything, what's the point?
Yeah. But we're very business oriented right now, I guess.
Yep, that's our life.
So it might not be clear language. But anyway, but we just think about our life and the fact that, we've made hard decisions. One of them being to fully and truly follow Christ. And, we talk about this more or less with our closer friends and dynamics, but 70 to 75% of our time weekly is ministry work. And so, and then anywhere from 20 to 30% is our personal life. Right now we don't have kids, but God has been dealing with us, and we've also made a decision to become foster parents. So pray for us for that too.
Yep. Go ahead. No, I'll interject. But he talked about doing the meaningful things, doing things that are meaningful for us. Everything requires a decision, but we had to decide to do things that are meaningful in our life, and because we have to be very structured. Yeah, the arrows jumping
super high.
But in order to do the meaningful things, we had to make some real decisions about where we want our life to be, where we want our life to go. It's not just going to happen. It's not just, this just occurred and it just popped up. No, you have to plan. You have to organize. You plan your life, but God order your footsteps. And so we trust and believe, even with the fostering dynamic, when we were dating, we actually even had conversations about whether or not we would be okay with, at that point, adopting children. I have a health dynamic. I have MS. And so he's always just kind of kept it at the forefront of his mind that, we'll see what her body does. Will we be able to have kids? Should we have kids? If you know anything about MS, they say that a woman's body actually does better while she's pregnant. But we actually had kind of like a little health scare back in 2023, and I had to be in the hospital for a couple of days because I had a bad relapse. And so it pushed him to the point where he's like, we're done trying to even have the conversation about having kids at this point, because we don't know what my body was doing. And so from that, it's kind of a long story. We had a conversation about it, and I was sad because, for me, I'm like, dang, you don't want to have kids anymore? You don't want to have my babies?
You mean you have...
I want to have your babies, whatever.
Babies.
Yeah, whatever. But that started, more and more conversations about adopting. And then one day...
And we got very specific. We were like, we only want babies. But then, as we went through the process of education and the trainings and everything, it was like...
Well, even before that, we had a conversation about it because my best friend had even asked me about a baby possibly being ready to be fostered, an opportunity. That was where she works at, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't think that's not gonna happen for us, because I had asked him and he said, absolutely not. I ain't about to do all this work and give the baby back, now we're attached. And so that was one point. And then one day we were downstairs watching, I don't know, but it was something family.
We actually, that day we went and saw a property.
Yes, we did. We went and saw a property
to flip.
Yeah, to a house flipping property. But then we came home that night and we watched Instant Family, I believe that's what it's called, with Mark Wahlberg. An old movie from like 2018. And I had forgot about it, but I like nostalgic old movies.
And I've never seen it before.
Right, so...
Or I don't remember seeing it.
And so we started watching it, and I got tired, and I was like, I gotta get up early in the morning, so I went to bed. He finished watching it. So the next day, I also had a doctor's appointment the next day. So the next day, I went to the doctor, and I'm leaving, and I have a voicemail, and it says, hey, Tricky, this is such and such calling about your inquiry to foster. Give me a call back. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't submit an inquiry to foster nobody. And in my mind, I'm like, what did he just do? What did he sign us up for? And so after watching that movie, you could speak a little bit about it and what it did for you.
No, after watching the movie, one, it honestly made me feel like we could do it. And then two, it was like, I don't know, it touched my heart, okay? Jeez, it touched my heart. Because, we don't realize the need of these children. And, the whole goal of fostering is reunification. And, reestablishing, the parents to the children and vice versa.
Reestablishing that relationship.
Right, reestablishing that relationship. And so, so we were like, as I was sitting there, I was like, me and Trakea, we're good people, man.
Yeah, we are.
Like, I'm like, we some good people.
But I mean, to your point though, we can literally be a catalyst for a relationship being rekindled between a child and their parent. And so again, we started off saying that, oh, we only want babies. But then the gentleman and his wife that we actually met up with, like when I said God is a master orchestrator, there are so many different things in our life. Yes, the business colleague. There are so many different people in our life who I feel like God has exposed us to and given us access to and just made a part of our life, whether it's family, friends, where we've seen how fostering can benefit people, how adoption can even benefit people. Oh, I'll put that down.
Yeah, you blinded me.
And so there's just so many different dynamics. I mean, somebody could have raised a child that wasn't theirs, such and such. That's my cousin, but we have no true bloodline connection. We just see how family is developed and how you can pour into somebody's life. And so the business colleague that we saw today, when we first initially met him, we vibed really well, and then we ended up going to another event, and we ran into him, and he asked us if we had kids, and we said, actually, no, we're starting the foster or foster to adopt process. And he started asking us all of these very specific questions.
Like he knew something.
Right, like he knew something. So wait, do you have a social worker? Where are you at in the process? Have you been certified yet? What type of foster parent are you? Right. What agency are you with? And so from there, we ended up going to lunch, or actually breakfast, with he and his wife, and well, not breakfast, but coffee. And we just shared a little bit more about where we were in the journey, and they were very encouraging from a business dynamic and kind of showing us the way and mentoring us. But then also from a foster parent perspective, they really helped us broaden our horizons to the point that we even are now open to foster children from 0 to 17.
Because, and we probably should have touched on this before, but you know, we understand certain fostering dynamics. You know, we have on her side, we have family that has fostered, but on my side, but on my side, it was more or less we had, you know, I've had my cousins that were, you know, adopted by my grandma, you know, that kind of thing. But but I personally, you know, at our ages, and all the things that we are doing, we didn't know what that looks like. We didn't know if that could even be a possibility to do fostering and foster adopt, because we have a lot going on. But the thing is, you can't stop life. My dad had told me this before. You cannot stop life because life happens. You have to keep pushing forward. You have to move forward. And so, but it boils down to, you made a decision. Right. God has placed, you know, the right people at the right time when we felt discouraged in the process, you know, to really be a full encouragement to us. Because, you know, our business colleague and his wife, I mean, they poured into us. They did. And they were younger than us. They were younger than us. And then even they both individually have companies. You know. And so for us, you know, people can look at us like you're crazy, because even with our business dynamic right now, we're kind of pivoting where we're going. People can be like, wait, you're doing that, plus you're trying to be parents? I mean, what's going to stop life from happening? Again, you cannot stop life because life happens. You can make a decision, though, and you're here, but God's grace is here. And so he'll give you what you need in order to push forward. But we know that with our heart of hearts, that this is where we're supposed to be right now. So we're excited. So we officially, about 2 weeks ago, we're certified to become what we are, as we're certified as treatment foster parents. So we're specialized to, or trained up now to take on children who have gone through trauma. You know, I mean, this process, clearly you're not going to get a perfect child. There's something that's happened, but our family's excited for us on both sides. My dad is funny. I had said, you know, what do you want them to call you? He's like, I mean, whatever. It could be that they call him, my dad's a pastor, so pastor. It could be that they say Mr. Ransom, but he said his grandpa name is Tupac. Not too much of my dad. Not too much of my dad. Where this came from.
I don't know, but Tupac. My mom, she's gonna figure it out. But your parents already have grandchildren, so they're already established.
Yeah, they know what that feel like.
Yeah. But no, overall though, whatever role that we're supposed to play in the children who will come into our lives and our hearts, our family's excited to be a part of the process too. And so, yeah.
So y'all keep us in your prayers. Keep us lifted up. That, you know, the right child and the right dynamics work out. You know, and truth be told, you know, we're doing this because there's a need, and that, you know, our heart is aligned with that need. You know, we want to see, you know, even if these children, like, we don't end up adopting these children, like, truth be told, we just want them to know what love feels like, and not just, you know, the love that we can give, but also the love that God has bestowed upon us.
Yeah,
and
that
so
he provides, that
he
brought through his son. And so, you know, but hold on, also too, the goal is eventually to foster to adopt. That is a goal for sure. But again,
so pray for that.
Yeah, pray for that. We're excited for the process. We're excited to, just keep on pressing. If you're ever interested in fostering and you have questions, send us a DM, something. I mean, we're open to talk about what the process has been like so far, and we can walk through it together. Yep.
And we'll keep you guys updated on our journey as we go. Now, when we do get a placement, placement, we're not going to show the child.
The kiddos' faces.
Yeah, we're not going to show the child's face. But you'll know that they're there. You'll feel the presence, I guess. But we'll I guess we'll talk to y'all later.
Okay. Love y'all.
All right, love y'all. Bye.